had a guy last year, I was fishing on a river. He said, "Hey, McKinley, how many summers do you have left? How many summers do you have left that you can do this with your boys, with your daughter, with your grandkids?" And it really took me back in my tracks. I was like, wow, gosh, I'm 54. I'm almost 55 now. I was 54 at the time. And I was like, man, those years go by fast. So it's about really optimizing our life and living our best life versus just getting by and feeling crappy.
Welcome to Look Good, Feel Good with Matt and Amy McKinley, the podcast where we bring you expert advice and honest, real talk on health, wellness, and feeling your absolute best. From hormone optimization to aesthetics and everything in between, we're here to help you live your best life. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to Look Good and Feel Good with Matt and Amy. I'm Amy.
And I'm Matt. Probably guessed that.
And today we're diving into something that's completely transformed our lives. You know, how optimizing our hormones into our 50s has made us, feel better than we did in our 30s.
Yeah, and it's more of a lifestyle change. A lot of times people will ask me, hey, what happens if I go off of this stuff? Well, you'll go back down to where you started. So think of it as more of a lifestyle change. If you're feeling great and get to feeling great, why would you want to go back down the other direction?
Yeah, and to be honest, in my 30s and 40s, it's kind of funny because I remember going to the doctors when I was I had just had Cole, who was 24. And I remember going in and seeing my OBGYN and saying, there's something wrong with me. I just don't feel good.
I remember that. Yeah.
The biggest thing I noticed is I just never wanted to have sex, to tell you the truth. I said I could never go, I could go without it forever. Anyway, I thought there was something wrong with me. And,
There was.
There was a lot of things wrong with me. My thyroid was off, my testosterone was low, but my OBGYN, she didn't know how to treat me. And I don't blame her. It's just because she wasn't trained, because they're not trained. But, I was gaining weight. I couldn't sleep. And honestly, I just felt older. And as we started to dive into hormone therapy, and I've been into hormones, on myself for like 10, 15 years, until I got my thyroid optimized where I was and my testosterone optimized where I felt great, everything changed.
And from a male perspective, in our late 20s and early 30s, our testosterone levels start to decline. So for me, I really noticed this probably in my mid 30s. One of the biggest things I noticed was working out, because I always worked out. All of a sudden, I wasn't making gains and my joints started to hurt all the time.
Yeah.
Joint pain, that was a big one for me. And actually had a friend from Kimberly, Idaho, that told me he was on testosterone replacement for joint pain. And I was like, really? So I looked into it, and that was one of the first things that I noticed was definitely improvement in my joint pain, but also motivation. The other thing, I was gaining weight doing the same thing. And people get frustrated with that. I was super frustrated. It's like, I'm working out hard, I'm eating good, but yet I'm gaining fat. And I was like getting kind of pissed off. I was like, this is not where I want to be. So.
And as we age, our hormones do drop. Our estradiol levels go down, our progesterone levels go down for women, and also testosterone, thyroid function. And those are the powerhouses for our energy and metabolism. And so, optimization doesn't mean replacing everything. It just means getting them back to the levels where you feel good. And that's kind of what we do, is basically optimizing them for you. Some women feel better at a lower than I do. I feel better here. Some people feel better here. It's optimizing to where you feel good.
Exactly. It's like, we're like snowflakes. We all have different metabolisms. Everything in our body works differently. That's the way we're built. We're not all the same. Or this job for us would be really easy if we had just this cookie cutter way to do this. But what we want to do is optimize your levels, not just replace them. So we want to get you to where you feel the best and then stay there. And that changes over time too. So it's not like just a one-time thing and you're done. We do a ton of follow-up through the course of a year and then beyond to get you where you need to be and where you feel the best.
I used to think that, aging was just part of the process. And I don't feel like that anymore. As I have come to learn about hormones and learn how to optimize them. I don't feel like we have to do that. I mean, yeah, we're all going to die. However, we don't have to die from broken hips. We don't have to, have Alzheimer's or dementia. We can help prevent that stuff through optimizing our hormones. And I feel like there's been just a disservice to that because we just weren't trained that way. But I think people are becoming more savvy with podcasts, internet searches. There's a lot of information out there, and people are starting to demand it from their providers and are searching out information on how to live a longer, healthier, happier life.
Yes. This just came to me, 3 letters that I'm trying to live by, and I want everyone to live by, and it's called QTR, quality time remaining. It's about living an abundant life and not just living out life and getting by. It's about quality time remaining. I had a guy last year, I was fishing on a river. He said, "Hey, McKinley, how many summers do you have left? How many summers do you have left that you can do this with your boys, with your daughter, with your grandkids?" And it really took me back in my tracks. I was like, wow, gosh, I'm 54. I'm almost 55 now. I was 54 at the time. And I was like, man, those years go by fast. So it's about really optimizing our life and living our best life versus just getting by and feeling crappy.
I think one of the biggest myths are that, we've told that hormones are dangerous. I've heard this a couple of times from people saying, oh, progesterone causes blood clots. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not true. Progesterone does not cause blood clots, nor does estradiol. If that was true, all
Nor
these
does
women,
testosterone, for that matter.
It's one of those things where I think we've been told this, and so now we believe it. But if that was true, we would all be getting blood clots, like especially women in their pregnancies, because we produce a lot of progesterone when we're pregnant. It's not true. We have the technology to have bioidentical hormones and optimizing them to where we feel good. Bioidentical meaning they look exactly like our chemistry makeup in our body. The body can't tell the difference between what we're taking and our body already makes. The pharmaceutical industry cannot patent what we make bioidentical. They have to make something a little synthetic. So there are synthetic hormones out there, and that gets misinformation about that they're the same, and they're not.
And sometimes, unfortunately, we wait too long before we get things checked. You don't have to wait until you feel terrible before you come in and get things checked and get them back in order. Age is a number. So I always think of this as, you know what? If I was feeling crappy in my 30s, why didn't I do it then? Gosh, because my testosterone levels, my hormone levels, they're not going back up. They're only going to decline over time. So remember, go by how you feel, but don't wait until your quality of life is in the tank. Get it optimized earlier to live that QTR.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you're not feeling like yourself, it's not in your head. Listen to your body. You know yourself better than anybody else, any provider out there too. Could be your hormones. And the best part is you can do something about it.
The good thing is you can get educated, you can understand. And for us, that's super important. We actually spend an hour going over labs with people, not only to go over the labs, but to help them understand where we're at, where we want to go, and how we're going to get there. Like I said earlier, it's not a cookie cutter program. It's individualized for each person to get them feeling their best so they can live that QTR, that best time remaining.
Yeah, I agree. So thanks for hanging out with us today. We always have fun doing these podcasts and kind of talking back and forth, and if you know anyone that needs this or needs to hear this, pass it on to them, share it with them. And we appreciate y'all and thank you.
Yeah, take care of yourselves.